Hey everybody, welcome back to Game Time Predictions. I'm your host Ethan Fore alongside Sam Johnson. Sam, how are you?
I'm doing great. Once again, it's another week where I'm not super excited to come on the show after yet another disappointing week from Northwestern athletics. But looking into the future, who knows? Other than me, you of course, who knows? So I'm
Obviously,
excited
right?
to get into it. Let's talk a little Northwestern women's basketball first. I was pretty disappointed with the last week. It seemed like Northwestern, us as Northwestern fans, we have the memories of fish. We go through these seasons of heartbreak and turmoil, and we're just ready to do it again next year. It was disappointing to see. I do think Northwestern is going to take their anger out a little bit on this Wisconsin team. Wisconsin did just come off a nice victory against Ohio State, but they are still at the bottom, or not at the bottom, but near the bottom of the Big Ten. I don't think this team poses too much of a challenge. I think it's a good mixture of Northwestern coming off a few bad losses and Wisconsin coming off a good win. I think this is one where we can really get out and attack them. I got Northwestern 65, Wisconsin 48.
Okay. So, a little fun fact for you: since we started taping the show, Northwestern is 1-2 with one postponed game. So, given the way they given the way we received this team when we started the show and how well they were playing, it's just been a weird couple of weeks. And Wednesday's loss against Nebraska was just bizarre. They were out rebounded once again, which is what I've kind of been, saying like, ooh, that's what Northwestern needs to figure out. They won the turnover battle by 24, which is crazy. That's a crazy number, and still lost. There were long stretches in the second half where they didn't score. Things were weird, but like you said, they played the Badgers on Saturday, a team near the bottom of the standings. They need a bounce back game. I think this is that bounce back game. And you said like, yeah, well, they'll beat up on the Badgers. I think that way too. I think it's not going to be very close. I've got a bit of a higher scoring game. I've got Northwestern 77, Wisconsin 60. But yeah, I think the Cats take care of business here.
This will be an interesting one to talk about. If Northwestern does end up losing this game, we might have to have some more discussions about the team going into the next month and how they're going to be perceived. But let's switch over now to a team that won't have to worry about those March implications, the Northwestern men's basketball team. They lost again in heartbreaking fashion. No new news there. Ao Desunamu, he does it to everyone. We are just in a long line of victims for him. I will say, we don't talk a lot about the Northwestern men's basketball bright spots, but Chase Audige at the end of that game was really keeping Northwestern interested. And it always feels like when it comes down to that crunch time, you need that guy. Illinois clearly has that guy, and we have nothing close to that, which it kind of spelled out disaster at the end of the game for us. Looking ahead to Wisconsin, I want to give more in-depth analysis, but what's there to say? I don't know. I'm not picking Northwestern to win. Who would? Who would? I got Wisconsin coming out and kind of giving us the work. I got them beating us 78 to 56.
Yeah, it's a weekend of Wildcats versus Badgers, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's so that's exciting. What's not exciting is anything about this men's basketball team.
Nope.
They haven't won in 2021, which has been said. They haven't won in 55 days, and the last time they won, they beat Ohio State, who's now ranked number 4 in the nation. So none of this team makes any sense. Just nothing about it. Starting off 3-0 and then losing 12 straight is or 11 straight, whatever it is, makes just no sense. They actually have a positive points per game margin despite their record, which is just an indication of the close games they play and a couple of blowout wins earlier in the season. So yeah, weird team. Unfortunately, Wisconsin is super gritty. They're an excellent defensive team, top 10 in KenPom's adjusted defense rating. So it seems like a game that Northwestern would keep close because I think it'll be low scoring. But I mean, this Badgers team is a tournament team and Northwestern's not. So I can't see a scenario in which Northwestern figures out a way to win this game just because Wisconsin just has more experience. They're just a better team, like plain and simple. Like we can go into the details, but they're better. I've got
They
the
truly
Badgers
are. They truly are.
64 to 56.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so many questions for that Northwestern men's basketball team headed to the off season. I'll be interested to see that.
Yeah,
And
lots
now
of
it's
things to
almost their own
address.
storyline of can they win in 2021?
Right. And some people think so. I've seen multiple college basketball writers say that this Northwestern's team's close. I don't see what they're seeing, but for
Yeah, yeah.
Northwestern's sake, I hope they're right.
We should have a lot of guys coming back next year, so we'll see. We'll move on. We know you guys know we like to spice it up a little bit, get more sports involved that you might not be as aware of on the Northwestern campus. We're going to talk women's volleyball, and if you aren't aware that they've been going on, I don't blame you. It's been about a month postponed for them. We got a game coming up against Purdue, who is number 11th in the country. Gave us quite the work last night. It was hard to see. It's a team coming off a month-long hiatus. Like everyone knows that when you return from injuries, it's tough. How about an entire team returning from a break like that? It seemed like they weren't as prepared as I would have imagined them to be. They got swept off the court. I think they come out with a little better of a plan, get used to just being on the floor a little more as a team. They've only played 3 games. I mean, I think Purdue's at like 9 and they're at 3 games. So I think we'll come out and look better than yesterday, but I think Purdue's just a little bit better of a team. I got them beating us 2-1.
Yeah, it's a little tough of it's a tough judgment to make on this Northwestern volleyball team because, like you said, they've been off for a month and they played 2 games and they beat Rutgers 3 sets to nothing in both matches. And Rutgers isn't a great team. So like, this long month off, Purdue, who's a really good team, has been playing this entire time since. So like, that's why, I think it was just purely rust. I think Purdue's a more talented team than Northwestern, but I mean, the three sets to 0 first game back, that just has to be a rust factor where you're just like not, their legs are fresh. They've been playing for the last month and you haven't. That's kind of what I think happened last night. I'm a little concerned that that Purdue's just more talented, even if like Northwestern maybe plays a little bit better. I think they will than they did last night. We're recording this on Saturday morning, and they lost Friday night. I've got Purdue 3 sets to 2. They're just a better team.
Sorry, I said 2 sets to 1. I meant 3 sets to 2.
That's
Saturday
okay. That's
morning, okay. Shaking the Saturday morning off.
Exactly. Sorry. They've just played better teams, beaten better teams. The Big Ten's really good in volleyball. They've got like 5 teams, I believe, right now in the top 25, which is excellent. And Northwestern's just not one of them, and Purdue is. And so it sounds simple, but oftentimes in college sports, it can be that simple. And I'll go with Purdue, like I said, 3 sets to 2.
That is, I'll say, that's one of my favorite things about looking at these sports is as a Northwestern fan, I'm also a Big Ten fan. And it's nice to see that oftentimes with these sports, you check the top 25 and it's just the same old teams every time. It's fun. It's that's why we try to highlight those sports. If you're a Northwestern fan and you're complaining about men's basketball, there's a lot of other stuff to check out.
And yeah, exactly. Northwestern is, excuse me, excellent in some of these other sports. So keep an eye out for those. But unless there's anything else, I think I can take us out.
Go right ahead.
With that, you've been watching Game Time Predictions. For Sam Johnson, I'm Ethan Fore. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week.